Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Javier with The Real Javier Novoa, a channel, a modality, and a unique platform where we apply the principles of philosophy, spirituality, mysticism, business, and good common sense to rapid lifestyle transformation. And I just want to thank you, the viewers, because it's still a relatively small but very quickly growing platform. And the fact that you're on the entry level of this, you're on the ground floor of this, you're pioneers. And this means that you really care about your personal growth, that you're really committed to these principles, and that you are inspired to follow the path that we're going down, which is a very unique path indeed in world history. And that's the path of individuals who take their futures into their own hands. But this is the big caveat: doing it from a state of already being it and already having it and allowing it to come about through the tools of manifestation and through spirituality. You know that you have it, you know that you are it, and now you're just interested in molding that energy and playing with that energy in the physical, having a good time, while at the same time awakening in others. I do salute you. Thanks for watching the videos, thank you for sharing the videos, and thank you for commenting on the videos. If you enjoy our material, I would invite you to subscribe and like to the channel. We are contributing to the global awakening here, and it's the way that we get our message out. It's the way that we get the algorithm in our favor. So thank you so much. Much love and appreciation for that. A big video today, ladies and gentlemen, based on a lot of questions that I've been getting through email and from clients. And that is about prosperity and abundance. What is it? Where is it? And how do we get there? We're going to map it out step by step in this video. We're going to go into some of the aspects of it that I don't think a lot of other speakers and coaches are going into. So a lot of people are asking me, hey Javier, this all sounds nice in theory, but where's my money? Where's my stuff? Why is it that I seem to be in a shortage mentality, even though I've been studying this material for years and years? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be exploring that today. First of all, what is prosperity and abundance? Well, what do we know from the philosophy and the principles that we study in this channel, from the perennial philosophy of all mankind? That is monism, ladies and gentlemen. That is unity. That is that there's no separation. Every spiritual book teaches this. Every modality teaches this to some extent or the other. And we teach this in our chart on the levels of being, where at the base level of that chart is divinity, and that's where we all started. That's where we all indeed are now. Everything else is just a projection of that divinity. You see, divinity, for lack of a better word, when it basically got bored being complete perfection and complete divinity, split itself into observer and observed, and then set up two objects, so to speak. And that began the multiplicity. And the purpose of the multiplicity is sort of like to go into a sleep, to split ourselves, and then to come back to the realization that we are one in a new and dynamic way, because of course in perfection of the divine there must be expansion and growth, otherwise it cannot be perfect. That would be dead. So knowing this, knowing that there is only unity, knowing that even within this game there's only unity, that means there's only one power, and there's only one will, and there's only one consciousness. Therefore, what does that mean? Everything is in your consciousness, including abundance and prosperity. So from the outset, whatever this abundance and prosperity is, you know that it's only within you. And that's where a lot of teachings are lacking, including the law of attraction and the law of assumption, depending on how it's understood. Of course, the original teachers of this, people like the New Thought authors, people like Abraham Hicks, people like the great Neville Goddard, they knew this and they explained it in detail in their writings. But the people who took it and ran with it, being that all of us who are taking these principles from these methodologies have to adapt them to our audiences and have to show the people how to apply them. Of course, in that application and in that teaching, some details are lost. And of course, this detail sort of gets lost by implication in that process. I hope I'm explaining myself a little bit. But the main detail is, as Joel Goldsmith said, your prosperity, your companionship, your home, your business, everything is within you. What does that mean? That means you don't have to get there. There's no way that you have to take or no path that you have to take to get there. In fact, as we've explained in other videos, the path is a desire itself. The only reason we take a path, the only reason we apply processes and do processes here, based on our understanding of the unity of all reality and that's all within me, well, the only reason I would do a process is for the joy of it. This opens all kinds of doors and all kinds of vistas and actually gives us all kinds of permissions. The whole point of going into these esoteric concepts just a little bit is to show you how you have ultimate permission, ultimate leeway, and I want to try to get you out of some of the major blocks that people have. So, the first block is what Neville Goddard talked about in many of his speeches and in his works. And basically, paraphrasing is this. He said, and I know that he said these exact words, the main mistake when people approach the law of assumption is to focus upon the things or the results rather than focusing upon the self that is attaining the results. Let me say that again. The major mistake, according to Neville Goddard, who was probably the overarching figure of this in this century, the major mistake that we make in trying to apply the law of assumption is focusing on the things and making that the end-all and be-all rather than the self who's getting the things. It's simply what we call, in this modality, state. Getting into state. That's why I have you apply the majority of your energy, probably not 90 to 100% of your energy, simply going within and getting into the state of having that. What do I mean? Let's make a very simple example. Let's say you're after prosperity and abundance, right? Even though being after it is a limited concept. Anything that I can explain in words, by definition, already limits the concept. So words can just be pointers for you, but you really have to work it out within yourself and know it within yourself. I really cannot teach you much. All my function is to point you toward the right direction of it within yourself, because there's no authority. But let's say you're after prosperity and abundance, and you set yourself the target, I'm going to show myself how the universe can deliver to me through this modality of no effort, because there is no effort, because it's all within you. $100, let's just say. You make it easy for yourself. But then you're focusing on that $100, and you're doing what Neville Goddard said. You're trying to see the scene of your wish fulfilled, and you're trying to believe it. Because, of course, you have to have belief in order for that thing to manifest. So you're trying to get it to manifest. Well, by trying to believe, what are you doing? Well, you've already shot yourself in the foot, because, as we know from reality transurfing, the film roll that you focus upon is the film roll that you're on. And what are you focusing upon now? You're focusing upon trying to get into alignment or trying to believe in the state that you're trying to produce. Therefore, you're on a film roll of continually trying to believe in the state that you want to produce. That's why you never quite get there. And there are only two options from there. Either you stay on that film roll, and by the law of probability, which is already embedded in that film roll, because in these film rolls are embedded law of probabilities. Well, by chance you may stumble upon something that will increase your belief and then get what you want to you. Or you may just be on that film roll and get in the probability of never getting it, and then go even lower on another film roll, giving up on your desire and saying, no, I will never get that prosperity. I'm not able to manifest $100. I have to work hard for it. This is just a very simplified example. You can save yourself all of that hassle and all of that trouble by focusing instead of the $100, knowing that you are it. Even the terminology of getting into state is a little bit off. It's not quite correct. Because getting into state implies that you're trying to snap into that state. What I want to teach you and what I want to prove to you and for you to prove to yourself in this modality is that you are the state, you are the vortex, you are the unconditioned, you already are prosperity and abundance. So how does that work in practice? Because this video and this modality is bent towards practice. We're not trying to simply spend a lot of time on theory here. Well, just very simply, I want this $100. Well, instead of trying to imagine it, which is beautiful, you can imagine it if that's what feels good to you in the moment. You have to know that, first of all, that desire of $100 is not stagnant. Let's say you get that $100. Are you always going to be just looking at your bank account, looking at that $100 like this all day long? No. You're going to look at it for 2 seconds, then you're going to get on with your work. And that's what we talked about a few videos ago of, you can tell yourself, now that I have it, I can imagine myself seeing that $100 in the bank account saying, you know what, it's there. Now let's go get a pizza. Let's go get some ice cream. And you can go about your life. So this gives you the liberty and permission. Know that you are it and stop trying to get into state. Stop trying to believe. We talked about in another video how you don't have to believe it. And what does that mean? Of course, the way the law of attraction and law of assumption works is that you have to believe it, and then when you believe it, you will see it. That is true. But you don't have to believe it right now. In fact, you can bypass all of that and just know that you have it, and then keep that just in the back of your mind. Focus on other things. Act as if you already have it. And then let the universe deliver to you evidence for that will make you believe it. So, for example, you conceive of the notion that I want the $100. Then you say, now that I have that, what would I do? And then you can say, okay, well, I would go spend it on a new pair of shoes, let's say. Then you go look for that new pair of shoes. Then before you know it, something happens. Somebody paid you a $50 debt that you had forgotten about. And now you say, wow, I got $50. Now I only need $50 more. So you already believe and know a part of that. And then that thing is just delivered to you. You see how it happens on the 3D. But the point is, we have to stop focusing on the path that it's going to take to us in the 3D, because there is no path. What I'm trying to teach you is to embody it now. That's how you embody prosperity and abundance. The other aspect of this is you can get the facets of prosperity and abundance, and this goes back to not focusing upon the results, rather focusing upon the state. You can get a lot of the facets of prosperity and abundance by sheer hard work and effort, and even forcing manifestations. If you imagine something enough, no matter how you feel, you're going to get that if you are crazy about it. Of course, the good thing is that not a lot of humans are able to do that. But there are some who are able to just maniacally focus on something and have it manifest. Well, if you have not achieved the full state of that, you're going to lose that pretty quickly. And that's proven in the lives of lottery ticket winners. That's proven in the lives of billionaires who are on antidepressants and still don't feel wealthy. They still don't feel in the state of wealth. Whereas a person with a very little money, but he feels wealth and he feels security, he's in that state of wealth. And of course, you have to define what the state of wealth is and the state of prosperity and abundance is for you. But the point is, do not focus on the things, do not focus on the trappings, know that it's within you. That's what I wanted to sort of elaborate on. There's another extreme that people in this work go into that I've noticed from a few questions I got from subscribers, and that is, a lot of people, because we say don't take effort, they think that they should not do any work at all, even when they're inspired. And what we say is, you don't have to do any work for it to be delivered to you, but you may be called and inspired to do work. But because of your past conditionings, you'll think of that work as something negative at the outset. What you have to do is you have to learn to listen to your feelings. If you feel inspired, let's say you want to write a book. Well, Javier says to take no effort. So all I'm going to do is say that I've got that book is written, and then I'm just going to go about my normal business. Well, if you start feeling negative emotion, you might have some thoughts in the back of your mind, well, I need to go write the rough draft for this book. But then you say, no, Javier said don't take any effort. Therefore, I'm not going to do the rough draft of this book. You have to experiment with this. Because doing the work that you think is ahead of you on that path does not contradict at all. You're already having it. You can be in both modalities. Why is that? Because whatever film roll you're on, you have to follow the script of that film roll. Let me try to make this more clear to you. Let's say you want to be on the film roll where you have a book already written and you've got the audience and you've got a bestseller on your hands. But you're on a film roll where you don't even really have the idea for that book. Well, it's going to be hard for you to jump to the next film roll if your energy is being sucked by the resistance to this film roll. So in order to break that resistance up, you need to ask yourself, I'm not going to get to the conclusion of this. And in fact, I shouldn't even try to take action to get to the conclusion, because I know the conclusion is already within me, because I've attained the state. The book is already written, and I already have a bestseller on my hands. However, on this film roll that I'm on, in order to balance the energy, I can take one small step because that's also in the script of the film roll. You see what I'm saying? Therefore, I can do the rough draft. I can dedicate myself to that work, of course, in a way that's energetically sound and in a way that I'm not feeling negative emotion while I'm doing it. You have to find this balance for yourself. But the point is, you can do the work, and we encourage you to do the work. But the way that you do the work in this modality is the work that contains the least effort. So if there's something that you absolutely hate to do, you have two choices. You can either try to focus on another thing that you can do, but sometimes that doesn't feel adequate because you still have in the back of your mind, I need to do this thing. Let's say, for example, you want to sell your book, but you hate marketing. Let's just give that example. You can say, well, I'll focus on something else until I get inspiration to do some part of marketing that I like to do. But you still don't feel good in that. They're all not good feeling alternatives. So what you have to do in that case is you have to just bite the bullet and say, you know what, I'm going to jump into this marketing thing and I'm going to see how it feels, and I'm going to just allow myself to feel the negative emotion and see what happens. Because you know that you control the flow, you know that you can go in and back out anytime that you want. So for example, let's say you hate marketing. You can say, you know what? I know that I've got to do this on this film roll in order to get to the next step. And I know that if I don't do this, I'm going to have negative emotion as well. It's going to keep me on this film roll. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 20 minutes and try to go into this marketing thing and see if there's not some aspect of it that I like. And many times you'll find that once you get into the flow, you're going to have positive emotion in that. You're going to grow doing that, and your belief in yourself and your confidence is going to grow. And then you stop after 20 minutes and you take a break. You don't force yourself. So you understand basically what I'm trying to explain is that you can do the work. You can do hard work and take minimal effort while knowing that it's already done. And you have to balance all of these modalities in this modality. And the whole purpose of the teachings and the tools that we give you are so that you can go out yourself and fearlessly find that balance so that you can start moving forward in all of your projects and all of your life. And you can know your abundance, you can know your prosperity, you can know that you are the abundance and you are the prosperity. And that leads me to the final point that I want to make here that makes all of this come together. You can't make a mistake, ladies and gentlemen. You are it. You get to decide the path that you take to it. You get to decide what you like and what you don't like, and you get to choose to follow the path of your desire completely. But in order to do that, sometimes you have to go and sift through the path. And you have to sift through the things that you like and the things that you don't like, because you're not going to know all the time. Your conscious mind's not going to know. But your heart will also know. And this is where the modality that's been taught in self-help since time immemorial, that the way out is through, this sometimes applies here. So, you are abundance, you are prosperity, you have a unique path to your abundance and your prosperity. Don't be afraid to get in there. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. Don't be afraid even to have some negative emotion, because it doesn't matter what your emotion is. You already have your desire. And all we're doing in this world is choosing every moment where we want to focus. It doesn't matter where you are. It's like that old poem goes, 2 men were behind prison bars. One saw the mud and the other saw the stars. You basically, in a plethora of situations, get to focus immediately in on what you want. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is when you buy the pearl of great price, when you come to the realization that your focus is the only law, the only Lord, when you come to know your divinity, and then you're free because you realize you can't make any mistakes, and simply by being in that state, you can get yourself out of anything. This is the true abundance and prosperity. And you're not subject to probabilities because you already are it. That leaves you free to follow the path on earth and in this physical reality that's best for you, and to sift through that path and to find that path. So I hope this helped a little, ladies and gentlemen. We are coming out with a lot of exciting videos this week. You don't want to miss it. Please subscribe and like. I am doing coaching calls where I guide you hand in hand through these modalities, and we're going to make more progress in a week than many people make in months and even years. So thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing the videos. This is Javier with great love and appreciation. I'll see you very soon.